I'm moving to Japan.
Yes, I moved to Japan.
Moving to Japan.
Moved to Japan.
Maybe you want to move to Japan.
Move to Japan.
We're going to Japan, man.
Can't go many places online nowadays without seeing someone talking about moving to Japan or seeing someone that just recently moved to Japan. Myself included, I am part of that. I want to move to Japan so very much. Especially if you're learning Japanese, you probably relate to that. So why do I want to move to Japan? Great question. For me, honestly, it started whenever I was in college. I had a roommate who lived over there for a year, and one night we were just hanging out and he started telling me about all the stuff he did while he was over there, and it got me interested. So later on that night, whenever we got done talking, I went onto YouTube, looked up Japan videos, and came across Abroad in Japan. At the time, he was doing his bicycling or his cycling across Japan thing, his journey across Japan first time, and it was inspiring. So I went and watched through all of his videos that night. I don't think I went to sleep, but it was interesting. I had so much fun just looking through his experience and living through them vicariously, but I want to experience those for myself personally. I just hit my microphone. It was probably very loud. I apologize. Before we had that conversation, I had never really thought about moving to Japan or anything of that nature. I liked anime. That was about it. Like Dragon Ball, Naruto, all that fun stuff back from when I was a kid. But that was pretty much the only exposure to Japan that I had, and I never really thought about moving over there, learning the language or anything like that. But after that conversation and watching Abroad in Japan's videos, I was inspired, and I really, really wanted to experience that myself. If even for a little bit, I just wanted to experience it for myself. So with this video, main goal, I guess you would say, is I want to know, one, what are the pros of moving to Japan? What are the cons? And how would I go about actually doing it? So hopefully we'll enjoy this together, and yeah, let's jump into it. I didn't know how to get this shot, so this is how it looks. Alright, so moving to Japan has a bit more negatives than I thought. Some of them I already knew. The loneliness of being in a new country and the culture shock, I already knew about that. For me personally, don't think it will be an issue since I've had a similar situation previously in my life. For my significant other, I feel like she might struggle with that, so that's something that we would need to talk about, discuss, to see if she actually wants to do that, and if that's something that she's comfortable with, because it's not always fair whenever you're in a relationship to base everything on what you want. You have to consider how it's going to affect your partner. And I think the loneliness and the culture shock would get to her a lot more than it would get to me. And I don't ever want to put her in a situation that would make her feel uncomfortable or in a state where she's not going to be happy. That would just be one of our issues that we would have to navigate. And if you're in a relationship, this might be something that you have to navigate. If you're by yourself, then you have other challenges. You have no friends over there. Anyone that you want to talk to is far, far away and probably in a different time zone, so it's going to be difficult to contact them. And whenever you first get over there, it will probably be extremely hard to find any friends. Things that I found while I was looking up things was Facebook groups and different meetup groups and whatnot, but that's not a guarantee. And if you're someone that's not an extrovert, that might be a struggle for you. One of the things that kept coming up is that if you want friends, you have to go out and find them. No one is going to try to be your friend, which I feel like that's the same in pretty much every place. You'll have your own oddballs once you get, but for the most part, I feel like that's true across anywhere. Another thing, which I feel like I am kind of guilty about this, is thinking that moving to Japan will solve all my problems. When realistically, it's not. It's not. And I know that, but I have thought about this for so long, and I've wanted to move to Japan for so long, so I think that's why in my head I might have inflated the idea of Japan a little bit too much, which I can see could lead to disappointment if I do ever get the chance to move over there. So that's a bit worrying. It's very different from where I live. I live in America. I'm in a small town, and moving there would be quite a shock to that. Never lived in a big city. I'm trying to learn the language, but I'm definitely not there yet, so that would be a struggle. The job market over there is extremely hard for foreigners, and the work culture is not the best. Black companies and such, staying late, working up late. There's a great YouTuber on that I found, which I'll leave in the link below, and it pretty much is just a Japanese salaryman going through his daily life. And it's fun little videos. They're short, but it shows kind of the rough schedule that a Japanese workplace has. Finding a living situation would definitely be an issue. Renting a place is hard. Getting an Akiya is hard from what I can tell, which I'll talk about Akiyas in another video because I really want to deep dive into that. Akiyas to me are so interesting. One, why they're like a thing, and two, I don't know. We'll talk about that in another video. But yeah, dating wouldn't have an issue with because I'm already with someone, but I can also understand how that would be difficult for someone. Going to Japan will not change who you are. It will not change your problems. It will just show them off in a new way. Someone in one of the videos that I was watching said that, and that really stuck with me. Also, day-to-day mundane things that I take for granted, like going to a bank, not having to wait for an appointment. There's a lot of mundane things that I take for granted that would be an adjustment to get used to over there. And I think that would be like the biggest challenge for me. But yeah, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, which makes, thinking about it logically makes sense. Nowhere's perfect. I just feel like we, myself included, get so invested in the idea of moving over there that we think it'll solve all of our issues, when realistically it's not. It'll just either create new ones or it will show off them in a different way. Let's talk about the good of moving to Japan. For starters, let's get the obvious out the way. It's nice. It's a nice country. Summers are kind of bad. Summers are kind of rough, but scenery is beautiful. The culture seems wonderful. For me, as an American, one of the biggest things about moving to Japan or another country is healthcare. I had surgery last year, and it was debilitating how much it was after insurance. It's crazy to think that a lot of people can't afford their medication. I live in a country where most people don't go to the doctor because they would rather suffer than go to a doctor because the bill is so high. People that need an ambulance would rather call an Uber than an ambulance because a mile ride in an ambulance can be $500 minimum. It is, for me, one of the biggest things going forward. The quality of life, just access to healthcare, to dental care, to eye care at a reasonable price, and not really have to worry about it causing you to go into bankruptcy or be in debt for the rest of your life. That is a big cause for me to want to move to Japan. Another negative, real quick, because I forgot to mention this in the other section. Taxes. I'm an American citizen, so I would have to pay taxes here and over there. So I would get taxed a lot, and it'd be another challenge or obstacle to overcome. Not saying that it's not possible, just saying that it's pretty bad. Another thing is, I live in a small town in America, South Carolina, and to get anywhere, you have to drive. You have to drive pretty far. Public transportation just doesn't exist here, and the food options are not the healthiest. So just the quality of life and being able to get better foods at a more reasonable price and be able to walk around more and get to places, that to me is another high selling point for moving to Japan. Also, for me, I said this at the beginning, I just love the culture. The summer festivals, the shrines, the ideal of it all, I really enjoy. I want to experience it, not just in a, hey, I'm visiting kind of way, but in a, hey, I live here kind of way. Housing over there is also, compared to America, pretty cheap, which is sad to say. This has turned into a different video than what it was planning to be. A lot of people find it safer in Japan. There's less violent crime, no mass shootings. From the outside looking in, it looks like a much safer place to be. And while there's going to be crime wherever you go, Japan feels like one of the safest countries to go to moving forward. Will that always be the case? Who knows? Everything can change. Another negative. Natural disasters. Growing up where I live at, we have very few earthquakes. They're not that often. We have thunderstorms and the very rare tornado. Japan has some of the craziest natural disasters I've ever seen. Earthquakes, tsunamis, typhoons. That would definitely be something that would be a struggle to get used to. That is something I'm not sure how I would handle that. But yeah, that is something to consider when moving to Japan. So how does one go about moving to Japan? A few ways. You can either get a student visa and go take a course in Japanese. You can do the JET program or a English language teacher, and that could work for you. For that route, you would need to have a college degree. Unfortunately for me, I do not. The other way would be to create your own business, which is the route that I will hopefully end up going forward. I definitely think it is the tougher of the route, but I think it is the most rewarding from what I can tell. But yeah, so those are pretty much, as an American at least, the only ways to go over there. Now, if you're from the UK and different parts of Europe, I know that they have the holiday visa, or I think working holiday visa, where you can stay over there for a year, if I'm not mistaken. I think one of the YouTubers that I watch, Mudon, recently did a year over there under that kind of visa. So there are different options depending on which country you're from. This is mainly from an American point of view. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all watching. Hopefully one day I'll get to see y'all in Japan, and hopefully we all get to reach our dream together. But until then, I'll see y'all on the next one.